Okay, so I'm here with Edwin Chimbo. Congrats on your fight again this weekend. That's dope. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How long were you kind of preparing for that?
So I was, I would say I was been preparing this since around December.
Hmm.
I had like probably 3 to 4 opponents fall out.
Hmm.
Actually, the funny thing is I didn't get this opponent I fought till probably like Monday, like the week before. Like
Hmm.
it was all like a mental thing. I was like, am I gonna fight? Am I not? And then yeah, eventually they found someone who was willing to fight, and then yeah, we went ahead and we did it.
How does that week leading up to that fight, like, what does that look like for you? Like, obviously, like, what are you working throughout the day during the week?
Just my regular, how would I say? So like,
Like your day job kind of
what
thing.
what was it?
Like your day job kind of thing.
Oh yeah, so well, I work at a car dealership, so I mean it's not really
Oh,
anything crazy. So I'm suffering from like the weight cut and everything, but I'm not.
mhm.
It's not really a demanding job, so I'm just it's
That's good. That's good. At least you're not like kind of, going through those like you ever see those YouTube videos of those fighters just like slowly dying as they're like 48 hours out,
exactly,
you
but
know?
nothing like that.
Yeah, I always thought that was brutal. What weight did you say you fought at again?
So I was supposed to originally fight at 160,
Uh-huh.
but they got that guy last minute, and he only agreed to 170. So then we did it at 170.
Shit, bro. What do you walk around at?
Walk
If you don't
around.
mind me asking. Yeah.
No, it's not a big deal. 86, probably the heaviest I got around.
God damn, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, dude, it's hard to stay well, I guess you must be so active. But when exactly did you start fighting? What age?
Uh, I would say 23, 23.
23.
Yeah.
23. Oh, cool, cool. Well, how did you get into it? Did you just kind of like look at fights like since you were small and you were like, all right, like time to try this, or like because it's kind of a big jump. Like I saw this stat of like it's like 10% of people even go to the gym, and then like 1% out of like the 10% of people that go to the gym will go to like a fight gym, because it's a scary thing. I mean, like I've lifted weights like for years, but the idea of getting into the ring or the cage or something like that, it gets really real really quickly when it's on the table. You're like, oh shit, that guy can fight.
Yeah, no, dude. So starting out, I really had no interest in combat sports or anything like that. I mean, I did like a year of wrestling in high school, but other than that, nothing really like combat related. I think my what was it? One of my friends took me to like one of like these fitness boxing classes,
Hmm.
and I kind of fell in love with it there, which is kind of weird. Fitness boxing class, it's more like moms and stuff, but I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, I kind of like this. So then I started going by myself, and then when I finally decided that it was like something I wanted to continue doing, I kind of found somewhere a little bit more serious.
Hmm.
So once I found this other serious gym, I think it was called Lone Wolf out in was it?
Lone Wolf in Pleasantville
I don't think it's Pleasantville. It's like
with Manny though, right?
yeah with Manny.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. I started boxing this year, and that's where I've been going, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually.
Yeah, I started officially there, and yeah, it was just learning the ropes, learning everything, and then I
What
kind of
year was
realized
that? Sorry.
this was about like 2020, like during the pandemic.
Hmm.
So like right when things opened up again, I was like, let me go try this gym out, and then kind of just stuck with me since then.
Oh, that's dope. When did you know you kind of wanted to compete? Because there's like a big jump between kind of, I know, like training in the gym to like, all right, let me look for a fight, get that set up. Kind of, I'm assuming training bumps up a little bit, intensity kind of goes up a little bit
For
once you
sure.
decide to take that step in that direction.
So I would say funny thing is, so at the gym I'm at now, I kind of started around like September of like 2021.
Mm.
And my first month there, I was getting used to kickboxing and sparring and all that, and I actually got my nose broken. And then when I
All
got my
right.
yeah, like first month there, got my nose broken, and then I don't know, there was something in me that was like, if I could just go through this, let's give fighting like actually in a ring a try. So yeah, from there on, I kind of knew I was like, I gotta do this. Like I gotta, like I got love for it, man. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't have stuck around with it. So
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I'm assuming that, the discipline that comes along with, fitness in general, but I think even more so fighting has probably helped you in other ways in your life. Am I correct?
no, for sure, yeah. Like, you know, it's kind of like that mentality of not to quit. That's like stuck around with me, and like in most of the things I do.
Yeah, no, that's, I'll be honest with you. Like, so I run like a few different marathons, and, in my mind, I was like, oh, long distance, like it hurts. And then it does hurt. But, the second, like, you can tell, like, someone can beat the shit out of you, all that,
Yeah.
like, I think the mental discipline, I do actually think it's on another level. That's why I always kind of like, I think this past year or two, I've been super into, like, watching UFC fighters' mindsets and just their view on life in general, because I think a lot of like, bullshit goes out the window when you're getting punched in the face. You can't think about, certain things, like things that don't matter when you're in high painful situations where, for lack of a better term, you're putting a lot on the line, you know.
Right.
And I think that that's a very attractive to young men in general, but people that kind of want to push themselves to that limit, because honestly, like, if for me, like, I want to get into it more because it, like, I feel like there's nothing else to do, but I'm like, well, what's next? What's after like this thing in fitness? Like, I need something, like, that's so cool, bro. And so I always kind of wondered, like, did you noticed anything specific? Like, I did this and that before I was fighting. Were you a little bit more distracted before you kind of got into this line of activity or whatever? Or was it kind of like a slow, gradual thing, or no change at all, you know?
So, so before I even started combats, like it was like really like I did nothing. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything like that. Like it literally just, I skipped the gym and everything. Just went straight into like combat sports, which I mean, I'm grateful for it and I appreciate it. But yeah, other than like, I really literally just jumped into the fire, I would say.
That's dope. That's dope. Was there ever a point where you were like, you came through like a wall of like fear and you were like, fuck it, like, fear is like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna go in anyway, or like, because I always hear that, like, no matter how tough you are, like, you're scared before a fight, but you just deal with it, like, you just go on ahead, like, that's the kind of bravery of it all, is like, not that you don't feel fear, but you do it anyway, kind of thing,
Oh,
you
dude,
know
yeah, for sure. That's how. Uh, hmm. So I could say for my first fight, I definitely didn't perform as good as I thought I could have. Mostly because of the fear. I let it get to me, and in the moment, I literally like froze. I could probably show you the first fight, and then when you skip to when I had my second one, it's a completely different person in there. It's just you learn, yeah, you learn to deal with like the fear. Like like my dude, when I'm walking out, like my fucking heart is like beating out of my chest. I'm like, fuck, do I want to do this? Do I not? And I get in there, they close the door, you hear the
yeah,
fucking
they close that cage,
fuck,
bro.
and I'm like, fuck, I'm not getting out of here. So yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's pretty crazy. Have you ever seen anything kind of, I don't want to say crazy, but like, there's certain risks that come with the sport. So have you seen someone? I mean, not obviously not anyone particular, but have you seen instances of people, let's say, getting knocked unconscious? That's obviously a risk that plays out. Have you, like you said yourself, like, you got your nose broken, and these are very tangible risks that I think a lot of people, it holds them back from getting in the cage or getting in the ring, and it's real. So, like, could you speak to that as someone with experience?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been to a lot of like local shows, and yeah, I mean, there are knockouts, like clean out cold knockouts. They could be like some fights that it's just one dude beating the shit out of someone for like a whole like 5 round fight, and there's I've seen it all, and I mean, as regards to getting into the cage, you kind of have to like, in a way, be okay with like that could happen to me. There's no like, I-
There's no getting around that.
there's no getting around it, man. Like you get in there, you're gonna get hit. I mean, you can be perfect all you want, but all it takes is one hit, and then it's over. So
Yeah, no, no, for sure, for sure. So you mentioned you work at a dealership throughout the day. Like, what exactly do you do? Are you like salesman or a technician or anything like
I
that?
work in like the parts department, so I just like help like the mechanics, figure out what they need and get it ordered for them and just all that kind of stuff. Over the counter stuff too, with other customers who come in.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going into like sales or maybe like technician school or anything like that? Or do you
I
like?
was thinking about trying to become a technician, but I want to see how certain things go with this fighting, and then
You know what? That's exactly what I wanted to get at, but I didn't really know how to ask directly. How in the most planned way you can, obviously you can't tell the future, but how would you like the next couple of years to play out in terms of this kind of career, this trajectory you're going on? You know, how would you like it to play out? Do you have a specific plan, or do you have a mentor that's like, hey, maybe you should fight in this circuit and then try this, or let's see how things play out, like that kind of thing?
yeah. So at the moment, I'm just doing kickboxing. So I just want to become more active. Probably at least get like, realistically, probably like 4 more fights in the year. And then I was looking to transition into MMA. So then that would be
Okay.
like the smaller gloves, and then
Shit.
just take it like little by little, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to like fight by fight. I can't really
Mm-hmm.
try to look too crazy because I mean I could say I want to become a professional fighter, but yeah, you never know. You get hurt, and it's over.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of
Fight
course,
by
of
fight,
course.
and then we'll see where the opportunities go and how far I can take it. But if not that, then man, I'd really like to be a coach. I really like that aspect of training. Like I like helping out others, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you find that when you coach now, you see kind of people build up that confidence and kind of gain that discipline that, maybe we all don't have when we're 23 or, 20, 19, that kind of thing is, do you see a lot of that?
No, for sure. Yeah, I like like it's just you can tell when someone's struggling in there, and you go in there, you help them. You're like, oh, just try to take it slow. Learn the technique before you throw it and all this other stuff. And dude, like seeing people's confidence rise is just like it's like game changing for me. Like I really get like a happy feeling from like helping others.
It's
Learn.
fulfilling.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fulfilling, I think.
Fulfilling. There you
Yeah.
go. You could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like trained some people, not in fighting. I trained some people like in with like the gym and stuff, and I found the same thing. Like you see someone have a pep in their step, or maybe they thought they couldn't do a certain landmark, whether it's like a weight loss goal or like a fitness goal, and then they hit it and they're like, "Oh, I can do this." And I think that with a lot of people these days, especially, they just need a little bit of like a fire, someone to be like, you can do it, right? And then they're like, oh shit, really? Like I can, I can do this, And I think that that's a really nice way to look at it. Is there any fighter that you particularly kind of like, not like look up to or anything, but kind of like follow and like, that you really like, oh, like, I guess that you kind of admire, and that's like popular on social media, or maybe someone that's not as known.
Yeah, I would say I have like 3 that are like relatively popular. Well, it depends. It's like in the fight game, but there's in MMA. There's I don't know if you heard of Marlon Chito Vera,
Yeah, yeah, the Ecuadorian guy. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's tough as fuck.
yeah. He's fucking one of the dudes who's just tough as nails. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's got a chin of steel, bro.
yeah, man, dude, my God, I was actually there live for when he fought for the title.
Oh man, that was brutal. Oh, I love that guy. It
Yeah,
hurts to
dude,
see something like that
dude,
happen, man.
that knee he got hit with, like you could fucking hear that so clearly from where I was sitting. It was like someone getting hit with a baseball bat, and I don't know how he didn't drop from that. Like
Dude, I feel like I would have just died. I would have got knocked out. I would have just
just
died.
eat that. I was like,
Yeah, and like I feel like, well, I can only understand this from a limited perspective. Obviously, I'm gonna be honest, I've never fought, but like I'm like, dude, that is like I talk to people about this. I'm like, dude, how do you like not think that's insane? Like even if you're not like a non-violent, whatever it is, even if you're very opposed to certain things, like how do you not think that's insane that these guys are just getting in with like shorts and these little gloves and like, all right, let's just see who
yeah,
like I'm
exactly.
like, that's so insane. I'm like, in any other situation that would be illegal, super dangerous. I'm like, but they're just like, all right, bro, fuck it. Like I know you've been training almost your entire life to do this,
Yeah.
and I've been training my entire life to do this. We both feel like shit from the weight cut. There's only one. If the referee wasn't there, this would literally be a fight to the death. But like, let's just do it. And I'm like, how do you not think that's awesome, bro? Like that's so crazy, you know. But yeah, anyone else? So Cheeto.
Uh, Dustin Poirier. I
Oh, okay.
that's another one of like my like first people that I ever watched really in MMA, and just followed ever since. And yeah, he's like a really good example. I also saw him fight that same night.
Oh, he fought in the undercard, right? I think that
Yeah,
night.
he was
I
like
think.
the co-main event.
Yeah, the co-main event. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's that. Yeah, that's cool, bro. That's like damn. I'm gonna be honest. What do they call it? I'm a casual, bro. I'm a casual. Like I know, obviously,
Yeah,
like I love these guys' mindsets. I think more than anything. Like I like because I'm like I don't know. I hear a lot of people talk these days, especially online, and I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like whatever. And then, but like when you hear someone like say like, okay, like this is how you get through hard times, and then it's legitimately some hard times. You know, they talk about how they were really poor and they were trying to make it in fighting, and they would have to teach classes at night, and then like teach classes during the day, and then like train at night, and then it's like years of like struggling and
yes.
all these different things. I'm like, dude, that's like that takes a strong mind. Like you're not like out not to diminish any other job, everything's hard. I'm just saying like you're not like getting the shit beat out of you or beating the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And like trying to make it. And even the guys that make it to the UFC, it's like they're what are they fighting 10-10, like 20 grand a year?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like that's insane, bro. And I'm like that is like it's gladiator shit, bro. So I like the mindsets. I'm a big fan of Habib. I love Habib, bro. He's just like
That's a good one too.
dude, he always comes up on my Instagram. He's like, no one cares if you're tired. I'm like, that's true. That's a good point.
Brother, who cares?
Yeah. I love seeing him talk to DC. You know when he's just calling DC, they just call DC fat. Yeah. I'm like, that shit is so funny to me. That reminds me of literally me and my family. I have a cousin who's a little chubby, and we'll just like, we'll just make fun of him or whatever. But yeah, any other interests outside of fighting? That you kind of I don't know, like, do you read anything or do you watch anyone particularly or any series or anything like that you kind of, I guess, to de-stress yourself even from everything,
To be honest, nah, not really. I mean, here and there I'll play some video games. Mm-hmm. But other than that, really, my mind is just focused on that, to be honest. Even in my free time, I just watch, like, old fights. Yeah, man. Literally.
Oh, the shit! All right. No, that's cool. When you do game, what are you gaming on? What are you playing?
I'm a sucker for. You ever play FIFA?
I did play FIFA when I was younger. I did play a little bit, not too much. I'm not gonna lie on camera here.
Nah, yeah. I've been playing FIFA since like forever, literally, and it's always just followed me. So I always.
Did you ever play Dragon Ball Z as a kid or no?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
Favorite Dragon Ball Z character to play as?
Shoot, putting a gun to my head. What was the Kid Buu? He was
Kid Buu?
Fun. Yeah.
All right. That's a good pick. I'm more of a Vegeta guy, but yeah. But no, that's a solid pick. So anyway, going back, what does kind of like a week of training look like for you? Like, do you spar like once or twice a week, or or is it different leading up to a fight? Like, what does your training schedule actually look like to get ready for something like this?
Oh, for a fight, yeah. So
yeah,
basically, it would be like Monday through Friday. I take Saturday off, and then I train Sunday, and it would be about like probably like 2 hours of training, I would say. So yeah, I do 6 to 7. It's like kickboxing, like sparring, and just like drills and stuff. The sparring does get pushed up a little bit more when there's a fight, but obviously for a reason. But I would say like a hard spar, like when we're actually like trying to hurt each other, would be like on a Monday, and yeah, it was just once a week.
Okay.
And that gets toned down like when it's like 1 week out. Then obviously we stop. But, that, like, second to last week before the fight is, like, one of the more intense ones. So, yeah, dude, like, do not want to be doing that.
Oh, damn. Yeah, Wait, so you basically, you're cutting, like, what in total? Like, so you walk around in the 180s and you're cutting to 160? How do you go about that? Do you kind of change? Like, are you normally on a good diet and then you just cut your calories, like, sounds like you have to cut them pretty extremely if you're cutting that
No,
much weight.
yeah, for sure. So when I first fought, I fought at 170 as well, and that was around like September of 2023.
Hmm.
And then so I told you how I had a bad performance. So then
Hmm.
from there, I didn't fight my second fight till November 9th last year. So, I was kind of having doubts and I kind of I didn't really stick to anything too serious because I was like, do I want to do this? Like, I don't know. Like, there was a lot of doubt still in me about it. And then, so now the diet is getting a little better because now I know I'm going to be more active. So I'm obviously trying to keep it low. But there was a time where I had my doubts about fighting. So that's when I kind of let it get out of control a little bit. But,
Hmm.
now that we're getting to something a little more serious, the weight is definitely gonna try to
Gotta
stay
be a
down.
little more
Yeah,
consistent.
about a
Yeah,
lot more
yeah, yeah.
consistent. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What does weight training look like for you? Are you doing that, or is it kind of more like in the gym, body weight stuff, like lightweight to keep kind of loose? What are you looking
Um,
like for that?
I don't really tend to lift too heavy, to be honest. I kind of more focus on, if anything, so I do my regular drills and stuff. I like to like do some running. Other than that, I don't really try to lift heavy. I don't really go heavy on weights, to be honest. I don't know what it is
Yeah,
about
yeah.
me, but
It's not that necessary. I feel like
yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
I always kind of thought like the old mentality. It's like muscles don't win fight. I mean, the dude I
That's a good
fought
point.
had muscles and a six pack, and what
You
I
won.
ended up winning. So
That's funny, bro. That's funny because my cousin, when we were younger, I had a cousin. He's a little smaller, but like obviously he's been boxing for years now at this point. He was like, I forgot what exactly we were talking about, but I wasn't even saying anything like, oh, like lifting weights is like cool. And I was just like talking. I'm like, yeah, you should do this, and then he's like, yeah, but like could beat the shit out of you. And I'm like, that's actually the easiest way to win any argument. I'll just beat
yeah,
the shit out of
yeah,
you.
for sure.
Like it's funny to me like so like I do so my undergrad's in nutrition, and I do like reading about certain things, and like I'm really big on like I guess understanding certain processes, and like I really did enjoy classes that were heavy into like biochemistry and stuff like that, and it does interest me. I'm going to physician assistant school,
Okay.
but there's still something about like, all right, bro, like shut the like even when I was in class and we are talking about polypeptides and shit, I'm like, all right, but like bro, if you want to get muscle, go lift weights. Just eat enough. And then in my mind, I'm like, if you want to like learn how to fight, like you're not gonna like open a book and be like, well, first you like kick, and no, like you can just go in there and like you
Yeah.
do it. And I feel like the mindset of like even in academia, I'm like I see some of these people like talking about like this, and that. I'm like, but you're not even like practicing what you preach. Like a lot of the doctors that I've worked with or can't be fit. They have the time and the funds to be physically active, but they're just not. And then, I feel like they're overcomplicating everything. They're just like, oh, like if you eat this like this omega 3 fatty acid, like you're gonna be healthy. And I'm like, bro, you can barely run a mile. Like, why don't you like? What are you talking about here? Like, so there's something funny to me about like. Me being like, oh, like you got to get your Mac, this, and that. Then my cousin's just like, I could fuck you up though. Like, you're forgetting about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you like? Did you like school, or were you not like really too much into? Was it kind of
Uh,
like a waste of time? You think?
Nah, definitely not a waste of time. It's just, I was just more of someone who just kind of like floated by, to be honest.
Hmm.
And, that was really just me, man. I didn't really. Could I have put more effort? 100%, but I don't know, man. That
Do you,
academia, I guess, was never really me.
hmm
But, props to anyone who, like you, man, going to school and still and all that stuff, man. Props to you on that, man.
Oh, I appreciate that, bro. I have a few opinions on school, but first I want to ask you something. I'm assuming you gained a lot of discipline in the past, years, kind of getting into this strenuous kind of activity.
Sure.
And do you think that things would have come easier to you, or like instead of, as you said, floating by, if you had put that type of discipline into something maybe you liked in school? Or do you think it wouldn't have mattered? It was kind of like where you were at that point in your life, and it wouldn't have changed anything. I'm just curious. It's just more of a.
No, I definitely feel like, shoot, man, there's something about like just like combat, I guess, that kind of brought it out of me. I didn't really know I really had that kind of like dedication and stuff until now. I mean, would I have liked to found it in school instead of doing this? 100%, but it's just how it rolls. It's just how it happened, man. So
Oh no, 100%, 100%. I honestly like, for me, I think that there's a certain stigma on people that don't elect to go to school at a certain, and I honestly I couldn't disagree more with it. Mostly because when I went to college, I saw a lot of people that also skated by, but it was this like idea, this notion, especially like, I'm assuming we're both Ecuadorian, just
yeah,
off
yeah,
how we look. Off how we look. I'm gonna be a little racist at this
yeah.
point. Dude, I changed my shirt and I'm like a farmer, but like, anyway, so I feel like in our culture, like the school seen as like this like be all end all for a lot of people.
For sure.
Especially like I think in the generation above us, I've heard that in Ecuador, like if you, it's like literally like you're licenciada or something like that if like you have like a degree, and I found it to be very like just non it's just not tied to the real world. I feel like that if you're dedicated to anything, if you're dedicated to fighting or if you're very dedicated to school, I think they're both good paths. I just think that it's so overvalued sometimes. People will skate by with a degree and like maybe something that's they know is not as lucrative but is easy to get there, is easy to finish.
Yeah.
And they'll equate that to like, or they'll think that's superior even to someone that's busting their ass in something that I would consider, and maybe I'm wrong with this, I consider being more real. Something like, my dad's in construction, he's in the union. I'm like, I remember I was studying for a science test and I was studying for like organic chem or something. And I'm like memorizing this like these like polypeptides or something, and he's out there building stairs and I'm like, damn, I can't do that. I'm like, if you gave me $1,000
Yeah.
and 5 days to build these, I couldn't do it. I'm like, I'm useless. And I think that there's something to be said about, I admire that in people in general that have something to contribute to society. But when I went to college, there were so many people that were in my position that were like, oh, like, in some way they felt like it was something superior to be going to school and then to be doing something else. And I was just like, I feel like that's not, like, you're wrong. It would kind of anger me. Anyway, that's my little rant. I don't know. I kind of got off topic, but I do think that's something I really do want to talk about because I saw so many people like that. I went to WCC for a couple semesters and then I went to Lehman and I was just like, why is everyone, I'm like, you're wrong. Like, it's hard out there to make money. And like, unless you have a degree in like engineering or something like, or nursing, you're not going to, I don't know. Anyway, what else was I going to ask you? So when did you start kind of going to these events? Was it around the pandemic too? Like all at the same time, or like were you always kind of into boxing and stuff like that?
No, so when I was at the boxing gym, with Lone Wolf, so I was there for, I'd say I started about, probably like July or August of like 2020. I was just doing the boxing stuff, a little bit of sparring here and there. What I would say, like when I went to the other gym that I train at now, Legends, and I had like Lone Wolf is not really like a fight gym, I would say, or like I didn't know anyone who fought there, so no experience in that. And then I went to Legends, and then I had a teammate, Ben. I remember the first fight I ever went to was one of his fights. So then just being a good teammate and just going to like all of their fights, and yeah, that's how I got my experience around and like watching fights and stuff.
So with your like crew, I guess from your new gym, you guys hang out, train together, and like just hang out in general.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We like to get together around like like UFC cards.
Uh huh.
Yeah, we
Oh,
hang out
okay.
and stuff like that, or like after fights, like after like this fight, we went to it's like this not mini golf. It's like an indoor golf place here in Ossining, and
Okay.
went
All
there
right.
just to chill, just watch some fights.
Do you still drink a bit, or you're like
Dude, man, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of drinks handed to me, but I tried try not to drink too much. You know, I'm already getting hit in
Trying
the
to stay
head.
clean.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck, man. Yeah. I'm gonna stay off that topic. Just 'cause I'm not too well versed in that. But yeah. So did you kind of stop? Were you drinking a bit before you started training, and then you stopped once you started, or like you've always kind of been like,
Oh
I'm
man,
not
I
partaking in
was
this.
kind of always into like, I would say, partying. There you go, like drinking. I would fucking smoke weed. I was just in a bunch of bad stuff to be honest before I started. And then you know you start training and then you realize
Hmm.
I can't really drink too much because then I feel like shit when I train. I can't really smoke too much because then I'm out here gassing out on basic pad work and stuff. So I would really say that martial arts like really helped me just kind of steer into a better direction. And I would say.
Do you think you gained some confidence from like learning how to fight, and not that like you were unconfident or anything before, but do you think it kind of gave you a little bit of, I guess, calming? I've heard that a lot, that it kind of gives you this sense of like, well, I know what I can capable of, so.
For sure. I feel like when before I knew how to fight, I would be more like an angry dude and try to get into fights.
Hmm.
And like from my experience, like when I would get drunk, like I would have a couple friends tell me like, "Oh, dude, you're out here trying to start fights," and I didn't really think much of it, man. But then like now knowing how to fight, like I had a couple of encounters where I could have fought, but I was just like, it's not worth it. It's not, it just calmed me down 100%. It's just like when
Yeah, yeah.
why
You're
do
like,
it,
bro, like.
do it.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I've heard about that, and that's hilarious. I can imagine like, it's funny because like I feel like it's always like a loud, kind of obnoxious guy that like, let's say he'll be at that golf place and he just runs into like a group of guys that literally fight all week, all the time, or something like that. It's probably like it's always something like that,
Dude,
bro. It's
I
like,
had Oktoberfest and like White Plains, man. I was going to the bathroom and there was this dude. Obviously, he was drunk, and then he just shoves into me, and I was like, you could have just said excuse me, and then just it went immediately to like, just like cursing, like you ain't nothing, like getting all up in my face. He was like, let's go outside, let's go outside. I was like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Just like calm down. Just like, and then he just kept on getting louder and louder, and then all I just did was just walk away, man, because like
why? Yeah, for what? For what?
exactly,
Honestly, like,
literally,
there's no winning in that scenario because
exactly.
like, I mean, let's say you beat him up, like he's some drunk guy, and then let's say like anyone can get caught, bro. I mean,
Exactly.
you know that better than I do. Like, are you gonna get caught by some like random drunk guy? Like, I'm saying that's not gonna happen. I'm just saying it's one of two things is gonna happen. Even though
Literally.
like obviously like I think you like fuck
Yeah.
the guy up, but still like
Or his friends jump
there's
in, come from
yeah,
behind.
yeah, yeah. That's another. And you know what I thought too. Like, you never know who's like just insane. Who's like, I'll go to jail like today for no reason.
Literally, man.
And like, I think that's kind of always in my mind. And like, I'm like, what if someone's just insane? Like, they just like, all right, like, because you hear stories like that. You're like, this guy just like, not to be like whatever, but like this guy will just like stab you. Like, what if you just
Exactly.
like you're going to punch
Exactly.
somebody, just pulls out a knife? Well, you never know. And I'm like, it's insane because like I always thought I was crazy for thinking like this, but then like I I guess I saw a little more as I grew up, and I'm like, no, I was right. Because I remember I was 19, I was like, boop, you never know who's insane, and like I would have some friends. Honestly, like it was mostly women that told me this. They were like, you're thinking like crazy, like not everyone's insane. I'm like, bro, like the world is not that nice. Like it only needs to happen one time.
Dude, all it takes is one dude to get embarrassed, and then he's willing to just throw it all away to get back. Literally, that's all it
Yeah,
is.
for no reason.
Exactly, for no
For
reason.
literally for no
It'll,
reason. Like,
yeah, exactly. They'll pull out a weapon, and dude, it's never worth it to be honest in my mind.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can. I've seen people like try to start things for like literally like no reason. Like, and it's not even limited to drunk guys in White Plains, dude. I remember like again, this might be an Ecuadorian thing, but bro, like we're like a scrappy bunch, bro. I'm like, I've been to like not exactly like family parties, but like when there's like parties that like a lot of Ecuadorians go to or whatever.
Yeah,
All right, so I went to one of those, and I'm literally just standing there, like not saying a word, And this guy, like, I mean, like, how our average height is like 5'4". This guy was like 5'4", and I'm just again, I haven't said a word to this guy. I'm standing there and I'm drinking, and he's like eyeballing me, and I'm not one of those guys like, oh, he's looking at me, but he's like really close to me, just like,
Sturdy.
yeah. And then I'm like, I just look at him like, cause I'm like, what is he like? You know, he's like, you like muscles don't mean anything. Like, God, fuck you, like some shit like that. And I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know you, bro. Like, what did I say? I'm like, why? Are you, like, what are you doing, bro? But yeah, I don't know. I've run into a few things like that, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm just standing here, like, not saying anything. But anyway. Do you like listen to any type of like different podcasts in general, or like at least to kind of follow anybody like I don't know, like Ariel Hawani or something like that,
oh,
like with these
yeah,
kind of fight things?
for sure. Yeah, when it comes to fight things, definitely. I would watch Ariel. Oh, dude, it's crazy that you know about Ariel. Yeah, yeah,
I'm a casual.
yeah, yeah. Dude, yeah. When it comes to fight stuff, definitely Ariel. Outside of that, I mean, not to sound like the basic guy who fights or whatever, but I'll tune into Joe Rogan here and there, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is.
I like Joe Rogan, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
like Joe Rogan. I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like it's almost like a fucking like you get a weird look if you say that nowadays, but like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I'm like,
dude, that's so weird. Dude, I actually okay, I'm sorry, bro. I keep ranting, but like this stuff gets me fired up, bro. I remember one time I was doing someone a favor. I was giving them a ride. Not even a ride. Okay, I wasn't even doing that person a favor, bro. I was talking to a girl and I was giving her sister a ride.
yeah,
And her sister gets in my car, and I think I had Rogan on. I didn't play it for them. It was, you know, when your Bluetooth shows what you were playing last or
yeah, yeah.
whatever. And she's like, "You were listening to Joe Rogan?" Like in that voice. And I'm like, "You mean the #1 podcast on Spotify?" I'm like, "Yeah, I tune in occasionally." Like, why are you? What are you? As I'm driving you somewhere, I'm like, you're gonna start like this thing with me as I'm doing you a favor? Like,
Crazy.
I don't know. You probably know some people like that too. Just like
For
you
sure.
probably yeah. Anyway,
Why you listen?
because like I always wonder like I'm like I know like because like obviously John Jones has his like opinions, and then you saw Bryce Mitchell go off the deep end,
Oh, dude, yeah.
and I'm like you never know who's gonna like not that I like Tate's a fighter. I'm just saying like you never know who's gonna like say some wild shit. Like imagine you're like I'm a big Bryce Mitchell fan right before he said that stuff. You know?
Jeez, dude. No, yeah, dude. He's an entertaining fighter, man. But then, like, the minute you give that man a mic, it's over, man. I was like, oh
He
man.
went full Kanye, bro.
Hey, exactly. He went worse than Kanye, man. I was like, what?
Yeah, bro. I didn't even. It was like if you think about it.
And then he only like backtracked because obviously the public eye and everything. And
I don't even feel like he backtracked that much. I saw him on Rampage. He was about to like defend it. He was about to be like, I saw him on Rampage. And he was like, if you listen to what I said in the beginning, it's like,
Jesus.
dude, I think that's okay. Obviously, he went off the deep end, but I'm just like, I loved. Maybe I'm again. I just see Instagram reels, but like, I love Dana White's response to that he's like, this guy's like a dumbass. Like,
Yeah, yeah. That was a
and like, you know, it's funny to me, you know. Like, cause on one hand you have McGregor with his like stuff, John Jones with his shenanigans,
yeah, dude.
and then like you have Bryce Mitchell, and I'm like, dude, that is like the most stressful job maintaining brand integrity. And then you're Sean Strickland, another
Oh
like
yeah,
just.
Strickland.
What do you think about Strickland, bro? I'm conflicted on Strickland. I feel like
I mean, I don't know. He's a little weird. It's just like the problem I have with him is like, all right, he can say whatever about like the controversial stuff, but like when it comes to fighting, he always speaks about like, oh, it's gonna be this like bloody, exciting fight, and then when the fight comes, it's like this whole completely like just boring thing, and it's just like you kind of get bored of it. Actually, at like one point, man, it's like I kind of tune everything out, man. Like you kind of just
yeah.
ignore them, to be honest.
Okay, all right. That makes sense. I'm conflicted on him because I'm like again what you just said, like because again like I watch his interviews and stuff like that,
Yeah, dude.
and like I'm like, damn, it's an insane. Some of the things I'm like, that's an insane take, and then some of the things I'm like, he's not that. I'm like I'm like if you hear him out, mostly with the like, I saw a clip of him saying how doing hard things can make you feel better, and you're not like you don't have to depend on instant gratification to make you feel okay. But he said it obviously in the way he talks. He wasn't saying it like that. He was like, don't be a pussy, like, whatever. But a lot of people can't dig through the meat of that, of like, he's not like, he's talking to a demographic of people that like, I mean, I feel like, we're not like 15 or anything. Like, we've both seen guys, I think, in our lives that maybe went down the wrong path, and maybe if they found something that they really loved, it would have maybe changed things. And like, I mean, for me personally, I've seen certain guys pick a path, and you just at one point you just have to say, all right, well, that's what you choose, and like, I have a lot of love for you, but you go that way and I go this way. And so I think that when Strickland talks like that, he's talking to the guy heading down that wrong path. And I'm like, look, like, talking nice to that guy isn't going to work anymore. I'm like, maybe these minced words will kind of hit that guy, At least that's what maybe I'm overthinking it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I could see that correlation, man, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Pereira too, bro. I love Alex Pereira,
Dude,
bro.
I find it so crazy how he has so much fans, man, and just he can't cross that language barrier. Like, dude, I
It
love
was like
him,
3
man.
words.
Yeah, literally only 3 words, man. And, like, everyone just loves him. That's crazy.
And the stone face emoji.
Yeah.
That shit. I always like whenever like I mean I like making jokes. So like, and people don't even watch UFC, so no one really knows.
Oh, I hear
But
you.
like sometimes I'll get a text and I'm like, I have no reaction. I just send the stone face.
Yeah, facts. Or you just say Shama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shama.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that he's about it too. Like I think it was Kevin Holland that like he showed up. He was like, "Bro, let's like no, not Kevin. Was it Kevin Holland? It was someone. No, Jamal Roundtree. Someone showed up at the gym he was at and was like, "Oh, like we're not on Twitter right now."
Oh, Jamal Hill.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
Jamal Hill.
Yeah, Jamal Hill. That's what I meant to say. My bad. And he was just like, "All right, let's get in the
He
cage
threw, he
right now."
threw him gloves. He threw him gloves. And
Yeah,
like,
bro, that's
and then
like
Jamal backtracked. He was like, "Nah, let's do it. Let's get paid. Let's get paid." I was like, "Damn, man."
yeah. I thought like that doesn't happen at that level, But then I was like, oh, I guess that happens everywhere.
No, for sure, man.
Because obviously that guy that he threw the gloves at, like he's obviously an elite fighter, but like, it just shows like that can happen in almost at any level. Like this, kind of talk and then the backtrack kind of thing, and like, anyway, so if you transition to MMA, what would be like? Would you kind of take jiu-jitsu more, I guess, intensely for the first year or two to kind of really get that good base?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I feel like the striking is good at the moment, so definitely kind of try to focus more on the jiu-jitsu, man. Like, I'm probably gonna have to, I would say, grind for a little while before it actually becomes MMA, but we're gonna start taking that first step into it.
All right. No, yeah, that's definitely that's definitely a logical step to take. Now, in terms of like any promotions that you'd want to go to, obviously other than the obvious answer of like the UFC, is there anywhere you'd kind of want as a middle ground? Any kind of like tangible next step that you have, like maybe the next card you want to fight on, or the next promotion you want to fight on, or will it kind of, how does that even work? How do you even find a fight?
So it's more coach based. So my coach is the one who reaches out to other promotions, and then they'll figure out something here and there. And he just happened to come across this promotion called Dead Serious. We did our work on that one, and it was fun. And it looks like I might be doing another kickboxing fight next month, and like on the 28th. So yeah, we were trying to stay active, and I like that promotion. It handled itself really well. It almost kind of felt professional in a way, like.
What do you mean?
The way weigh-ins and everything was like handled, and face-off.
You guys had that face-off, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Like you kind of get like a measure of like how they're feeling in that moment. Cause what's it called? I remember when we were facing off, like you kind of just keep eye contact. It's kind of weird at first, but like you just like when like you can tell when someone's like a little like afraid, and I could kind of tell like. It's always the person who breaks eye contact first, I would say. And he definitely did that, and I just kind of knew it was like, I feel like I got this.
All right. That's that definitely sounds like it. I feel like if you're like staring down someone that's been training to beat shit out of you, like you're like, oh shit, like.
Yeah. Oh man.
I would break immediately. I'd be like, all right, bro.
It is a little weird though. I'm not gonna lie. Like just being like up close, just like.
Yeah, bro, someone could just fucking slip and just fucking. Well, that's the end of your career. You lost immediately right there if you slip and just fucking.
That's on camera forever.
Yeah, no, for sure. How I was gonna ask you this. So like in the saying kind of is like there's a lot of guys that can have a lot of talent and have a lot of you know, straight ability more than somebody else, but there's this idea that how you market yourself will really determine how much, I guess, how much you can sustain this as a career. Like, you know, you said it yourself, like Strickland is a UFC star, even though his fights aren't, you know, blockbusters or anything like that. And is there anything that you're kind of paying attention to kind of, I guess, manage that exposure? I'm assuming if you had like 100 to 200K followers, like, would it be any easier to get fights, or is that just whatever
Um,
to like promotions?
I feel like nowadays, even in the amateur ranks, it is kind of crazy. Like you kind of do need like I guess I would say like a following. I mean, there are some that don't care. Obviously, like the lower promotions, like just starting up, they don't care. They'll, I guess, grab whoever. But I feel like the minute you hit that pro level, like right there, like it matters a lot because they literally just care about how many people you can bring to the shows, you know. And like
Yeah.
the thing that kind of saved me on this one is that the amount of tickets that I had sold already was like the reason why they kept on trying to find more and more and more like opponents after each one kept on falling out. So I guess it does really matter. And then in the second card that I fought on, I was I sold a decent amount of tickets, and it was like only my second fight, so I kind of expected to go like towards the beginning of the card, like this one, but
Hmm.
I actually ended up being like the fourth or fifth last fight of like the night. Like I was like towards the end of the card, and that's just off like the tickets I sold, and yeah, man. And even well, my first one, like it's always just like tickets, and I sold a decent amount, and I was like what like co-main event on like that card.
You co-main event?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Like
Bro made it in his first fight.
facts. It's a weird thing. Like they really care about like just if you can bring butts to seats, man. Like they're definitely putting you higher on those amateur cards.
Well, have you ever heard about that thing with Mighty Mouse? That he kind of like he got cut out of like certain deals because of how much attention he garnered to the sport. Like even though he was kind of like arguably, no, not arguably the best person in his division, he couldn't get any pay-per-view points. He couldn't get guarantees that the other guys got, and it was because, I mean, maybe wrongly so, but his, you know, the lower weight classes just get less eyes. Like if you're fighting at 125, like he was, like versus you're fighting at middleweight or heavyweight, for whatever reason you get less eyes. And like I it's crazy that that happens up there. I assume that's why I asked you. I assumed it happened even in lower level promotions. But yeah, have you thought about like, I don't know, like do you kind of, not are you going to adopt a persona or anything, but like have you kind of thought about that? Like, oh, well, like how do I differentiate myself? Or is it all, I guess it might be all be training, right?
Yeah, it would be the training and stuff, but I feel like I hate to be that guy. Is there a way you can just pause this for a second, just cause
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah. No worries, bro.
computer's about to die. Just give me 1 second, bro.
No, no, take your time, bro. We could cut anything out too.
Yeah, but give me 1 second.
Nah, you're chilling, bro. Don't worry.
All right, man. I got it worked out.
All right, bet. So we left off at, oh yeah, me asking if you're like, not that you're gonna adopt a persona or anything like that, but have you thought about, you know, how would you kind of gain some exposure other than straight wins or cage ability, I guess, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was kind of like thinking about that, but it's not really in me to be like all
McGregor-ish.
McGregor-ish. Yeah, like all like just talk too much. I'm more of like whenever I see my opponents, it's always like, good luck and like, let the best man win. Always respectful, even after as well. Um, I hate to say it, but I feel like the only way I guess I know is to make it like entertaining in the cage and like in the fight. I don't really like this, but I've kind of like adopted like these like taunts that I do in the ring,
All
like
right.
when like it's if I show you a fight, you'll definitely see it. I kind of
You're smiling. It doesn't sound like it doesn't seem like you don't like it.
it's so
You're like, I don't like this.
no, because I feel like with time it's gonna like obviously the more you fight, it gets recorded, other people see it, and then like you'll have ticks that you don't even realize, and then someone else will figure it out, and they'll see the tick, and then boom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I do have a tendency to like taunt when like if someone hits me, I'm just like, oh, like yeah, that didn't hurt. If someone misses, I kind of like my second fight, I did like a little movement where I did like the matador thing. It's
That's
weird.
hilarious.
It comes out of me. I'm not like that in the training room. Like when I spar, it's always respectful. I'm never taunting, but like the minute I'm in the cage, I guess against someone I don't really like, have like any
You gotta hit
personal
the DX symbol next. No,
facts.
I'm just kidding.
Exactly,
I'm just
exactly.
kidding.
It's like it's like a different person. I'm just like I like to taunt and just, dude, yeah. I feel like
I mean, you're still young. You may just develop into. You may just be developing yourself as to getting more confident in this kind of new environment of like kind of like an amateur fighter. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and so you're probably still discovering. I would assume. But yeah, no, there was definitely that aspect to it that I kind of wanted to touch on. Have you, other than like, I don't know, do you have anyone that's like recorded your fights or anything like that, or do you have access to the footage? I noticed you said there was a pay-per-view, right, of your last fight.
Yeah. So yeah. My coach always records. There's always like a teammate who can't make it, and then they'll purchase the pay-per-view, and then he just screen records it, and we
Yeah.
work off that. Yeah, but that's normally how I get the footage off of.
And then you watch the film and like kind of grade
Yeah.
yourself or whatever.
Yeah, for
That's
sure, for
pretty
sure.
cool. Reminds me of football, man. It's just like watching the tape, being like, you fucked up that play, or like,
Yeah,
or like, are you doing the matador move?
dude. In the moment, it's like you like zone out, and like it's literally just like your body doing whatever like you've been training to do.
Hmm.
And dude, like, and then when you look back, you're like, whoa, man, I don't even like. It's like a blur. Like, it's weird to explain.
Do you notice that I guess the confidence that you've built has maybe tangibly helped you in, let's say, your job or relationships in general, not just like random interactions with drunk guys, but I mean like maybe how you handle things emotionally even. A lot of guys, I think between our ages, they're very emotional. And like I think that I think, at least, I don't know exactly because I'm not that deep into it as I want to be. I'm assuming fighting kind of helps stabilize that, and it leads to helping, these other relationships in your life, whether it's family, friends, romantic, whatever it may be. Do you find yourself more at ease?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it definitely brings like a calmness to you, and I don't, I've never really ever been one to get worked up or like emotional in most things.
Hmm.
But definitely with fighting, it definitely has helped me even more calm, and then just like open up a little bit more and not be like as shy as I normally am. I'm not gonna lie.
A little more extroverted?
Yeah, exactly. Like never in a million years would I even like try to do something like this. Like I feel like I wouldn't be able to. But
Really?
yeah,
That's
no, for sure. I've
surprising.
never really like, and even coaching like class, like it's just
Hmm.
me and like a bunch of people just like going off what I have to say, and like stuff like that. Like I was never really into. I didn't really like. I wasn't really good at it. But like, dude, if I can get in front of like a bunch of people and fight another dude in the cage, man,
Probably do a lot of other things,
I
bro.
can do a lot of other things, man. So there's that.
Yeah, no, there for sure, for sure. That's definitely, I think, one of the benefits that fighting specifically can give you in terms of like that's a very high pressure in front of a bunch of people. So that's pretty that's pretty crazy. But moving on. I'm just gonna look at my notes. I'll probably cut this part out, but I asked like a lot of questions. I completely forgot. So if if everything kind of like, obviously you don't want to, predict the future word for word, but what would you like to see in like, 5 to 10 years from now in yourself as a fighter? Like, as kind of like a rough outline. Like, obviously things can change tomorrow, but where would you like to be at maybe 5 or even 10 years from now in terms as a fighter, whether it's as a coach or maybe at a more professional level, something like that? Is there anything you kind of, as a goal, you see yourself at?
Uh, I do kind of like have like a little bit of a goal, I would say, for the near future. I definitely like 5 years does like I would like to be either at the professional level or like right before, like right at the brink of the professional level. Whether it be kickboxing or MMA, like is yet to be determined. But I definitely would still like to fight no matter what. I mean, the amateurs is all just about getting experience, and then I definitely would like to take it to the professional level, and then I would like to coach. I would still like to coach. Even like we can say 10 years in the future. Like I still see myself some part in like combat sports. Like either if like you said, nothing's secure. Well, either pursuing my own dream, or if not, helping someone else pursue their dream. Like just helping the future have their turn at it.
Yeah, like getting like still being around the action
Yeah,
kind of
for
thing.
sure. That's what I want to do.
Okay, okay. And what would you say is kind of the biggest piece of adversity you've had to face in kind of going from someone who, as you described, was, you said like bad things or something like that? Like, what would you say was the hardest thing from going to someone that was into certain things and now is into being training? It sounds like 6 days a week most weeks,
Yeah.
and even kicking it up in intensity during fight weeks. What do you think was the biggest kind of hurdle? Was it self-doubt? Was it kind of just breaking the routine? Maybe you can't see certain people as often, whatever it may be. What was kind of the biggest hurdle you had to take?
Yeah, definitely the biggest hurdle would have been like just not seeing people as often as I used to. You have like a bunch of friends, you always, see each other and everything, but then, once you kind of like are in your own path and you got to like follow something strict, you got to just go at it and, just give it your all. So it kind of does, like friend wise, it kind of like only leaves like probably like 1 or 2 days out of the week where I could see some, or sometimes like not even at all during the week, just contact through like phone and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely breaking the habits of like going out and stuff. That definitely like I would say was hard at first to do. Is you don't have the discipline at all, and you just man, dude, like how many days is it to like start like a habit? Isn't it like 30 days of doing something
Yeah, yeah,
continuously?
it's something like that. Yeah.
For sure. So definitely that, and then training wise would have for me would have been like when I first started sparring, dude. Like when you like get beat up so often and everything, it's so discouraging, and it's just like you have like this doubt. It's like, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I not? I have like uh many instances like when I was like sparring like for like my second fight, not the best sparring ever, and I would get beat up and everything, and then you kind of like have these doubts, just like, oh, like if this guy is beating me up, like what is this other guy in the cage who doesn't know me gonna do to me? And then yeah, dude, just like a bunch of just being able to just push through adversity, man. That's definitely like
Would you say that's a normal kind of thing that you have to get over if you want to get into something like combat sports? Like, there's a saying, like, like if you're gonna go swimming, you're gonna get wet, and like, kind of pushing through that because, like, in basketball or in football, like you have a bad day or you take a bad hit or whatever. But like, to me, like it always seemed like, all right, but in fighting, if you have a bad day, like you said, like I got beat up today, like that's like you said, discouraging. Like it's not missing a basketball shot. It's like,
it's getting kicked in the head, getting fucking punched in the face, all that, man. You could get a concussion from fucking sparring. A whole bunch of stuff could happen. But man,
it's a part of it, right?
yeah, it's just part of it, man. Like, well, the saying is, what you're either the nail or the hammer. You can't be both. So
Hmm.
Yeah, some days you'll come in and you're the nail. Some days you're the hammer, man. You just gotta ride
That's
along.
a that's true, bro. That's a good point. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
man.
I have to say, bro, you give me a lot to think about because like I'm like I've been trying to box. I've been boxing a couple months now, and I'm like it's about time to like at least try to like maybe spar a little bit. I'm like oh shit. I'm like
Sure.
obviously you have some like doubts or whatever, but like I'm like all right, that's true. Because like my cousin said the same thing. He's like bro, you're gonna get hit. It's like like.
Yeah, dude.
But no, that's honestly good advice because sometimes people try to like overcomplicate it, this and that. But like that's literally as simple as it gets. Like if you're gonna do this, you're gonna get hit. Like it's not like you're not gonna die, but like things are gonna happen. And yeah, so you said you're gonna try to get a fight in next month.
Yeah, yeah. It's looking more likely that I'm gonna fight March 28th, but we just got a couple things we gotta just you know get through a little negotiation and see what they want to do. But other than that, just try to heal. Like, look, my leg is like still a little sore, and like my
Yeah, I can
instep
imagine.
on my foot, like that still hurts. But we're pushing through it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's wild. Did your family come see you fight?
Only my mom and my sister go. No one else, like family wise, really likes to go. I
Oh,
can
so they were in the
understand though.
crowd. No, I could understand that too, bro. I don't even know if I'd want anyone I know there. I'm like, what if
Yeah,
they?
exactly.
That's
You
pretty
get
ballsy.
your ass beat in front of everybody, man.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's that. Yeah, how does your mom feel about this?
She was never really a big fan of it, but I guess she could tell like the time and dedication that I put into it. So I
Mm.
guess she just sees the passion.
That's
And
good.
yeah,
That's good. That's good. That's good. I feel like I mean, that's exactly what you want from your mother, like a level of concern, obviously, but also like a level of support at
for
the
sure.
same time. Um, yeah, what you said negotiations. Obviously, like you don't have to get into anything specific or anything, but like, you talking like money or like
Nah,
did they
it's
pay you
oh
per
yeah, yeah,
tickets
yeah.
or?
So negotiations, you could be like what's that word? So it's like you're cut on tickets. So like for this last
You get a
fight,
portion of the
yeah,
sales?
yeah, you get like you get a little
Nice.
kickback. So my coach has been good with it. Like sometimes I'll get $15 off of like the ticket sales. So every ticket I get 15 off. So yeah, no, it helps, man, dude. I remember like that first amateur fight I had, man. Well, I walked away with like $400.
All right, bro.
Yeah,
There you
man.
go.
No, it's good. I mean, this last
Oh yeah, it's
wasn't as
fucking.
well, but
It happens, bro. It
yeah,
happens. I'm sure. Like, I mean, as you said yourself, like things kept dropping. So
yeah,
like,
yeah, man, for sure.
yeah. So I'm sure if you get a steady opponent, like it'll only keep growing in terms of like, because I was legitimately excited to see you like perform. I just had that commitment or whatever. But
I
I would have been nice. Like, and for sure, like I want to, if you fight the 28th, I 100% put me down for a couple tickets, bro. I'll definitely come in with to come see. It'd be pretty dope to see something like that in person. Yeah. So I think we can cut it there.
yeah, man.
But if you do fight the 28th, I'll definitely post it. All that stuff.